grassroots, a down-to-earth segment, other than just hearing doctors and police officers reporting on something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think to have the force of nature that is the unstoppable Tim Ryan, you know, he is a former addict, and I think that there's a different level of relating to and respect and a certain buy-in when you begin that collaboration process of recovery, and there's a trust because they know that his experience wasn't read out of a textbook; it was lived, you know, firsthand.
I work for a treatment center called Transformations Treatment Center out of Delray Beach, Florida. I run a Man in Recovery Foundation. I have 2 phones. I field between 100 to 300 phone calls a day, whether people are indigent, they have state insurance, they have good insurance. I'm the concierge that guides and directs people in, but I'm also the guy that gets called to come into the desperate situations, do the intervention, and walk out of the house and get the person on the road to recovery.
You know, that involves a lot of tough love, as they say.
These individuals, these families, they are in crisis. And when you watch the show, you're going to see Tim fully committed to his, you know, to the families that he works with, that he tries to, and successfully so, gets them into recovery, gets their life on the right path. But it's a struggle, and it's not without drama.
Personally, I was over a year sober. I was going to 12-step meetings but not working a program, and I took a guy to Chicago to move out of his apartment that was newly sober, and his roommate was doing heroin. I said, yeah, I'll try 1 bag, and that was it. 75% of the people that ultimately go to heroin start with prescription pain pills.
Heads of these treatment centers, the people who are the
So, you know, Jason, when did you first learn of Tim Ryan's story, and what was it about his journey that, you know, compelled you to help launch this special?
Well, met him through a mutual friend about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and we hit it off right away. And if I could describe the one word that attracted me to Tim and got my buy-in is authentic. Tim is absolutely authentic.
This is the #1 killer in the United States of America is opiate overdoses. 144 people a day are dying, and damn it, we need to talk about this.
I'm very sorry to hear of your son's passing.
Thank you.
And for clarification's sake, when did you get out of prison?
I walked out of prison December 16th of 2013.
Okay. Now, I had read that, you know, we're living in an era where addicts are dying faster and younger by the day. And could you both give me your opinion on why you believe this is the case?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, I'm 48 years old. When I grew up, I mean, it was a big deal to get a pack of cigarettes or a 6-pack of beer. It is more accessible for a kid. After Nick passed, his mother and I were divorced. Shannon and I were having lunch, and she said, Tim, you know, I'm behind you 1,000%. I don't ever want a mother to go through what I went through. Heroin took you, my husband, our beautiful home, and our firstborn child. And I just learned of 2 more deaths yesterday from people I'd been working with. So, but there's hope out there, too. Many people just are afraid to put up their hands, and families need to talk about it and let people know their kids are struggling or their husband or wife and expose what's really going on out there.
And it was a great honor to be a part of such an amazing show with great writers and great fellow cast members. And, you know, not only winning all the Emmys, but being inducted into the Smithsonian Institute a couple of years ago. That it doesn't get any better than that. So, no, I love it. I'm very proud of it.
And I'm curious, what's a fun fact that would surprise fans today?
That we all still talk to each other and have a great relationship. And speaking of all talking to each other, I've been doing that a lot today with all of them to tune into the Dope Man tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern on A&E Following Intervention.
Fred Savage has recently said that a reboot would be unlikely, and what's your take on this?
Hey, you know, it's hard enough to capture lightning in a bottle once, I think that's about as close to perfect as you can get, and I think we just want to leave it alone and respect that. And speaking of respect, I think Tim Ryan is going to earn everybody's respect tonight on Dope Man at 10 o'clock on A&E. This is a guy, like I said, who's made it his life's mission in the most authentic way to save as many people as he can, and probably himself along the way.
Now, for my final question, what's the biggest lesson you two learned from each other in the process of filming this special?
Tim Ryan needs to eat food when he needs to eat it, or he gets to be a very grumpy boy.
And I need lots of coffee.
That's right.
But it's the one thing that really I think Jason and I bonded with was that he is a father, that he has kids in high school. That this could affect his kids in Podunk, USA, where he lives too. This is everywhere. I speak all over the country, and Jason said it the best. Nobody wants to bury their child, and I have 4 other kids, and I don't want to bury any of them. And I want to offer hope, so that's what it's all about. I appreciate you having us on. This has absolutely been wonderful.
Thank you.
We're not here to talk about wonder fucking years. It was 30 years ago. I won't say it. You know what I was going to say? Okay. What Novak texted.
Oh,
I did, and I caught myself.
Don't do that.
So now what?
Okay.
Brandon Novak, we miss you.
We have a few minutes.
Do your open, explain the show, your roles in the series, and then do a little bit banter back and forth. If you have any questions for him to start out, and if you have a question for him, and then after you guys sort of do your open, then go to the questions, and I would have the questions with you as you're sitting there.
What's our timeline for this?
So 15 to 20 is a good live amount.
Perfect.
So